Hi, it's Laura Muir here, and you're listening to ATHLèTES MONDIAUX.
Hi everyone, welcome to the ATHLèTES MONDIAUX podcast. If this is your first time listening, ATHLèTES MONDIAUX is French for athletes of the world. In this podcast, I interview track and field athletes from all around the world in their native language when I speak it. By the way, my name is Mathilde, I'm from France and I'm a polyglot. I created the ATHLèTES MONDIAUX community back in 2005. My guest today is Laura Muir, the Tokyo Olympic silver medalist in the 1500 meters. Laura has won multiple international medals in the 1500 and the 3000, but she's also a vet. In our conversation, Laura told me about how she was able to get a degree while being a professional athlete, but also about what she learned from missed opportunities. We recorded this interview in January, when Laura was training in South Africa. Laura was outside and there's a bit of noise at times, but you should still be able to understand us. Since we recorded the interview, Laura won her 5th European indoor title. Well done, Laura. You're listening to the original interview in English. The interview is also available dubbed in French for those of you who understand French better than English. Enjoy! Hi, Laura. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hi, thanks for having me.
You had a great 2022 season with 3 major championships. You medaled at all of them. My question to you is, did you get the mascot everywhere?
I did, yes. No. So you get a mascot usually when you win a medal, and yeah, I've collected a lot of them now. So I was very happy to win the medals, but also to get the mascots with them. Yeah.
When did you start the collection?
It was just really when I won a medal. Normally you do get given a mascot, but some competitions you don't. It just depends on the competition, and so any that I didn't get on the podium, I would go and buy. So I had sort of the mascot to go with the medal, and I've managed to keep it up now. So all the medals that I've won, I've got a matching mascot with as well. Yeah.
Cool. You're my first vet on the podcast. And for the people listening, you heard it right. Laura is a vet. We'll talk about it later. But I think vet school was like a turning point in your career because that's where you met your current coach, Andy Young. Am I correct?
That's right. Yes. So I started university in 2011. And when I moved to Glasgow, I studied at the University of Glasgow. That's where I met my new coach. Once I started training under Andy, my performances got a lot quicker, very fast. So so I went to university, wanted to be a vet, and ended up becoming a runner at the same time at a professional athlete level. Yeah.
What kind of a runner were you before that? Before meeting Andy?
Yeah, probably just like club level. In Scotland, I would sometimes make teams, but not always. But age group level, yeah, I would just kind of be thereabout. Not really winning races, quite often not even making the podium. So I was kind of club level Scottish athlete. That just like to run, just love to run, and that's just still the same case now. I just love to do what I do, but just now I'm a lot faster at it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what changed with Andy? What did you learn with him?
Essentially everything changed. Yeah. The training, I wasn't doing very much mileage before, so we upped the mileage. Intensity was a lot harder as well. And I think as well, he just gave me something to work towards. I never had really a competition outside of Scotland before. I never had any sort of targets to go and to win this race or to run these times. And he kind of gave me that motivation to say, yeah, you can do it. So with the training changing and the change in training, and completely different setup at the university. Everything just clicked really, really well.
What year did you say you started training with him?
In 2011. Yeah, it was when I moved to university and when I started coaching with him. Yeah.
Okay, 2011. So did you watch the London Olympics?
I did, yes. Yeah, I was actually, at that time, I actually had a dairy farm placement. So I really wanted to watch Olympics, but I had to do lots of placement for my vet studies. So I actually went to a dairy farm and did the milkings in the morning. So I'd be at the farm at 5:30 in the morning to do the milkings. So then I could be back for about 8, 9 a.m. So then I could then watch Olympics the rest of the day and still get some placement in. I remember coming back home stinking of cows, watching the Olympics. Yeah, so it's quite surreal.
Did you watch thinking, oh, one day I'd like to be there?
Not really at that point, to be honest. I made the World Juniors that year. And at the World Juniors, there were 2 or 3 athletes that made the Olympics from that team. So there was that bit of a connection where I was thinking, wow, I'm at a world junior team with these people, and these people have now gone on to run at the Olympics. So maybe, but I still didn't really believe it that much. But then the next year I made the World Championship senior team. So it's like, well, that's the senior team, that's the big team now. So maybe I can go and make the Olympics. And that's me ran at Rio in 2016 and Tokyo in 2021 now.
In 2013, you ran the 800 at the World Championships in Moscow, but the 1500 at the European under 23 Championships. How did you pick the distance? Because we know you're quite versatile, but do you train for all distances or for one in particular?
Yeah, I make it quite tricky because I'm quite good at the 800, 1500, and 5K stuff. But the main event is the 1500. But the training we do for that, because the event, you have to have endurance and you have to have speed. So we do speed sessions, which work well for 800 type races. And then we do endurance sessions, which work well for 5K kind of races. So yeah, in order to be a 1500-meter runner, you've got to be really strong and you've got to be really fast. So it means that I can race kind of a distance up and down as well. But yeah,
Mhm.
1500 is my main event, and that's the event that I love. And I've won a lot of medals in, but I do love to race in other events as well and mix it up a little bit. And it's exciting to kind of race different distances too. Yeah.
Mhm. Would you say now you'll mostly focus on the 1500 in major champs and just go up and down for meets, or?
Yeah, that's what we've done the past few years. But now I've got to the point now where I've won a major 1500-meter medal at every championships. So I'm at that point now where I've won a medal now in that event across everything. So whether we decide to try doing different events could be quite exciting, but we do a lot of it by form and how I'm running and how the competition's running. So we do make decisions quite late before championships to decide what event's the best event to do. But yeah, it's exciting to have those options, and I'm not just a 1500-meter runner. I could potentially do other events as well, which is exciting. Yeah.
Mhm. You also compete at several Commonwealth Games. It's Commonwealth Games are something we don't really know a lot about in France because we're not part of the Commonwealth, obviously. I know
Yeah.
for you it must be extra special because you don't compete for Team GB, you compete for Team Scotland. So how special is it?
It's really special, yeah. So the Commonwealth Games is only every 4 years, so kind of like a Olympic cycle. So it doesn't come around very often, and it's the only opportunity that I get to compete for Scotland at major championships. So yeah, it means a lot to have that Scottish vest on and to hear the Scottish anthem. Hopefully, if you can get to the top of the podium. So I was very very happy this year, or 2022 rather, that I won the Commonwealth Games. So I got to stand on the top of the podium for the 1500, which was fantastic. So it's just a really nice opportunity to compete for your smaller nation, as it were. Yeah.
In 2016, you broke Kelly Holmes' British record in the 1500 in London Olympic Stadium. Am I correct?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And I actually went to better it though in Paris. So I have a really fond memory of racing in Paris a lot because I bettered my British record there, and I had that PB for until Tokyo Olympics. So yeah, really fond memories of racing in Paris from that race. But yeah, that was the in London was the first time I broke it, and that was Kelly Holmes' record. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. I guess Kelly Holmes is an important figure in British middle distance running, so it must have been pretty special to take her record.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think being double Olympic champion, she's a huge icon. I think globally, probably in the
Yeah.
sport, but for athletes in Britain as well, and especially her competing over the events that I compete in as well. So, yeah, that was it's a very fast time to try and target and to beat, and then to do it sort of on British soil as well at a home Diamond League competition in London. Yeah, it was really really special, and yeah, it's I think just we everybody watches her, running the race with her arms across the line, and it was just such an iconic moment. So it means a lot to yeah know that I can run just as fast, if not faster than her was really good. Yeah.
hmm Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned in Rio because you were one of the favorites, but you only finished seventh. With hindsight, do you know what happened there?
Yeah, I just physiologically wasn't in a place to compete with the medalists. Really, yeah. At that point in my career, I could run the 1500 in a few different ways, but not in every way. And unfortunately, just the way the race panned out and the way I went with the leaders, it just didn't suit me physiologically. And a couple 100 meters to go, I just filled up with lactic acid, and yeah, unfortunately there was nothing left in the legs, and I was sitting in third, and I dropped back to seventh. But we learned a lot from that, and we went back and did a few different things in training, and now I'm a lot more stronger now, and I can contend when a race folds out like that. I can do that now, and it shows because I won silver in Tokyo. So as much as coming seventh in Rio was a really big disappointment, it fueled the fire a lot for Tokyo, and I think winning that silver in Tokyo probably meant a lot more to me having missed out in Rio than what it would have done if I'd won a medal in Rio and Tokyo. So yeah, it's things come around. I had to be a bit patient. I had to wait 5 years, but yeah, it's just the thing with 1500. It's so unpredictable. It can like unravel in so many different ways in the race. But I think that's why it's maybe one of the most exciting races to watch as well, because so many different things can happen. It's really unpredictable, and it's very exciting.
How do you prepare for different race scenarios?
Just having lots and lots of plans in your head, yeah. So we'll do lots of different things in training, whether that's kind of hard from the start or changing in pace, doing different lactic type sessions, and then knowing your competition as well. I've raced against a lot of the others on the circuit over the years, so we all know roughly kind of what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and roughly what people are likely to do. And that doesn't mean people might change their plan to try and surprise things, but yeah, just with experience, it just takes time. There's no shortcuts with that. You've just got to learn about your body and learn about other athletes and how you can run a race and how they can run a race and how you can run it to the best of your advantage. So it's very tactical, but it's exciting in that way. It's good. Yeah.
Is it also a confidence thing sometimes?
Yeah, definitely.
To be like, I know what I should be doing, but do I have what it takes?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've got to have confidence in your body. I mean, physically, you can be mentally as positive as possible, but physically, you've got to be able to do it. Everybody would love to be Olympic champion, but you've got to physically be able to do it. And then at the same time, yeah, you've got to have confidence in yourself and know, okay, yeah, I can go with this, I can do this, or I can try and make the break now and I can hold it. So yeah, it's an awful lot about making sure your body's prepared, but also mentally being confident enough to know what you can and can't do as well. There's no harm in saying, "Oh, I can't go with that right now." Just knowing where you are, but at the same time, if you think you can go with it and you think you can push it on, you think you can win, then yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Hmm. Is confidence something you've had to work on, or has it come pretty easy to you?
Yeah, I've 2014 was quite a hard year for me. I went to three championships, a medal contender in all three, and didn't get a medal in all three. So that was really tough. But I think I put a lot of pressure on myself going into the competition, being a medal contender, thinking, oh, like this is pretty sure set. Hopefully, I'm going to get a medal, and it didn't happen three times. So that was really hard. But I took a lot from that. I learned a lot from that to try and how to cope with the pressure. And now it's yeah, I'm very relaxed, and I find that the more relaxed I am, actually the better I run. So yeah, so it's great because now I feel great before the race because I'm nice and relaxed, and then I actually run better as well. So it's like a win-win for me now. But yeah, it just takes time and knowing about yourself and knowing how you think and how you process it. And everybody's different. Everybody will have different approaches to it. I went in, very nervous before and didn't race, and now I'm just now really relaxed, and now I race well. So yeah, it just changes, but it's taken time to learn that and know myself. But I'm in a good place now to race well, sort of in all different sort of situations, and I've got the medals now to prove it too.
Yeah. When preparing for the interview, I really had a feeling that when you started running, it was just for fun. You just loved running. Is it now that it's a job? Is it still as much fun, or is it like you sometimes wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I gotta go train," but I don't want to today.
Not gonna lie, in so I live in Scotland and in Glasgow, and it's very wet and it's very cold a lot of the time. So some mornings you do wake up and think, "Oh no, I've got to go out and run in 5 degrees in the rain." But no, I do really love it, and it was quite a nice opportunity during COVID actually, when there was no training camps, there was no races, everything was stopped. There was none of the sort of exciting sort of parts of athletics anymore. It was just training. So that was a really good test because I just trained, at home, just around my house and things, and I still really, really enjoyed it. So I was like, that's really, really nice because, I don't have any of these exciting competitions coming up. I don't have any of the travel, and yet I still love what I do. So that was actually quite a nice sort of reflective kind of moment to be like, oh yeah, no, I still really love running for what it is. I always did kind of think that, but that really, really forced the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love it for what it is, and it is a very hard sport to to push yourself physically in. So I think you do really need to have a passion for it to be able to commit 100% and to ultimately try and get the best out of yourself. Yeah.
And you want to know in advance what you're going to be doing in training, or would you rather not know?
I'd rather not know. Yeah, so we do 3 sessions a week, and we'll know kind of what surface it's on, whether that's grass or like hills or road or track. But we don't know what the session is. So yeah, I've got a session tonight, so I will rock up to the track and we'll find out what it is. But I think I like for it not to dwell on my mind all day because it was a really well. It's always pretty hard, but if it's a particularly nasty one, I don't want to be thinking about it all day and having that sort of dwell on my mind. I'd rather just get there, find out what it is, and then just be like, right, okay, let's go. Yeah, but it seems to work, so that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about 2018 because it was a great year for you for different reasons. You won bronze at the World Indoors in the UK. Although it was pretty tough for you to get there, we can talk about it as well. You won your first senior outdoor gold medal in Berlin, and you graduated. That was a pretty busy year.
Yeah, it was quite hectic. Yeah. So I graduated in the summer, and well, May was when I had my final exams. And a couple weeks or a couple months prior to that, in March, we had the World Indoors that was in Birmingham. But yeah, I'm not too sure what happened with the weather in France, but we had the storm. We called it Beast from the East, and yeah, it was crazy, crazy snow. I was working in the small hospital in the morning, and was meant to be flying down to Birmingham that afternoon. And this massive snowstorm hit, so all the flights were cancelled, all the trains were cancelled. So we had to get a big a big taxi down to Birmingham. I can't even remember how long it took us now. I think it was like 7-8 hours or something down to Birmingham. Arrived at 11 o'clock at night, and then I raced the next day, in the 3000 where I won bronze. So yeah, I was very grateful actually. It was in Britain because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make
Yeah.
it to the competition. So I was very lucky in that sense. But yeah, a bit of a wild 24 hours, and then came back and ran the 1500 a couple of days later and won a silver there. So yeah, a pretty successful weekend considering it was quite stressful. But yeah, it was good. And then yeah, completed my vet degree and graduated that summer. I was actually at a training camp in Sitmaritz in Switzerland, and I wanted to come back for graduation, so I flew back to Scotland to my graduation, and then as soon as I graduated, came back out to St Moritz to train, and then had Berlin, the European Championships, later on in the year. Yeah, where I won my first outdoor title at the Europeans there, which was great. So yeah, very very busy year, but yeah, really fond memories year as well. Yeah.
Did you have to pick championships when you were still studying? Were there some championships you couldn't go to because you just couldn't make it work?
Yeah, yeah. So we had the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and that was in Australia. But unfortunately, that was in April, so that was just the year before, or sorry, the month before my finals. So we just knew I'm not going to be able to get out to Australia and compete. Logistically, it wasn't going to be possible. I still had placement I had to complete. I still had lots of studying that I needed to do. And get back. So I missed the Commonwealth Games in 2018, which I was really sad about. But I just had my priorities, and my vet studies were my priority for that year. So that was really important for me to do. But I think other than that, being able to juggle it reasonably well. I did take 7 years to do my degree. It's usually 5. It took me 7. The vet school were really, really supportive and gave me a couple extra years to get my placement and things done. So that really, really helped. But yeah, I think other than the Commonwealth Games, I was able to make every other championship. So that was good. Yeah.
I don't know if you know him, Hugues Fabrice Zongo, the world indoor record holder in the triple jump, who was on the show earlier this year. He's doing a PhD,
Oh
and
yeah.
he said during the interview that his studies have always been his priority. He just added
Mm.
sports, but his main focus has always been his studies. Would you say it's the same thing for you?
Yeah, I think it would be two probably. Yeah, I mean certainly when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a vet. That was it. So my studies were my priority when I was younger. And even when I got into vet school, I was like, I'm going to be a vet, and then I'm just going to run as a hobby on the side. And then that hobby kind of went uphill quite quickly. Became pretty good at it, so I was like balancing both of them throughout vet school. But at the end of the day, vet school was probably the most important thing to me at that point in time, because I needed to pass my exams. I wanted to do the course justice. And then once I graduated in 2018, it was a bit of a right. Where do I go from here? Because now I have my degree, but my athletics career is kind of going up and up and up. But yeah, I was really lucky. I had a lot of supportive people around me. I spoke to lots of vets, and they were saying, you can only run for so long. Your body can only run at that ability for so long. So yeah, just go for it and commit to the running. And that's what I've done since 2018. I tried to see if I could squish in some veterinary stuff, but I'm away so much of the time. I'm away probably about 2/3 of the year, and then I've got various other bits and pieces going on as well. So I'm just not in one place to commit to doing anything job wise. But yeah, I've focused on the running now, whilst I can, and whilst physically I can do that, and then I'll look to maybe see if I can go back to do some of the veterinary stuff later on in my career. Yeah.
Do you think you'll have to brush up on some of your skills as a vet?
Yeah, yeah. I'll need to show that I've sort of done so many hours of learning, and that I'm able to do the job and things. Yeah, I'll need to make sure that I'm all up to speed with everything. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. We didn't mention your double double in 2019 when you became the first athlete in history to achieve the double double at the European Champs, 1500 and 3K. Did you have your family there to support you because it was in Glasgow?
Yeah, I was very lucky, with it being so close to home, and Glasgow being my home track as well that I train on in Glasgow. Yeah, I had lots of friends and family there, so that was really nice, because I travel the world a lot, and a lot of the competitions are quite far away. So it was very nice to have a lot of friends and family there that could be there and watch. Yeah.
Hmm. So you mentioned Tokyo earlier. You got the silver in the 1500. You broke your national record with an incredible time of 3:54, which puts you in the top 15 ever. Some of the women who've run faster did it in times when things were, let's say, a bit suspicious. How does it make you feel? We're not going to name names, but how does it make you feel to see some of these names ahead of you in the all-time rankings?
Yeah, I think sort of the mindset I've kind of adopted is all I'm in control of is myself. And there's so many different things out with your control, and it doesn't apply to sport; it applies to everything. Various ways of life, various different job roles. Whether you university work, everything. So many things are out with your control. So just control what you can control and do the best that you can do. And I know if I can do that, hopefully it's enough to be high up there in times or to win medals. Um, doing the best that I can do, knowing that I've ran as best as I can, but it's that's all I can do. That's all I control. The only body I'm in control of is my own, and how hard I train and how well I can run. And hopefully that is enough, to be successful. But I think, it's difficult when you start thinking about other things. It can be quite demoralizing. And for me, I just need to try and keep a positive mindset, because for me, I race well when I have a positive mindset and when I'm relaxed. So I just have to go out there and do my best. And as long as I do my best, I can be happy in my own performances. Yeah.
Okay, so even if you sometimes have doubts about certain opponents, you just don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I guess you would trust that the authorities that be will manage that. That's their responsibility, and as well as it is athletes' responsibility as well. But there's only so much you can do, and there's only so much I know. And ultimately, I think if I allow them to, if I am thinking about another athlete, and then that puts me off my race, and then they win, well, that's then they're like double winning. So for me, I
Mhm.
have to try and focus on myself and think about, okay, what do I want to do to try to win? And you can do it. Like I've won lots of races, and I don't know what other athletes are doing, but you can do it. But you just hope that the sport is. I think the sport is a lot more vigilant now, and it is getting a lot better place. There's still always going to be work to be done. It's never going to be perfect. I think
Mhm.
that applies to everybody. But yeah, certainly it's a lot better place. We're definitely getting there. There's still a lot more work to be done. But I think, I need to try and focus on being the best athlete I can be, to then be as far at the front as possible of races I can be. Yeah.
Mhm. So how was it getting that medal in Tokyo?
It was good, yeah.
Redemption?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I think, having to wait 5 years since Rio as well, because it was postponed a year. So that's, yeah, 5 years I'd waited for that Olympic medal, and it meant so much. And it was a stressful games as well, with COVID and things, and not knowing if it was going to go ahead, and hoping you were never going to test positive at any point in time. But yeah, luckily managed to get really good training in, and managed to get to that final in a good spot, and got on that start line. Honestly, the relief just even getting to that start line was like, okay, wow, we're here now. And then just be able to run that race and get the British record as well. It meant a lot. It was a lot of work that went into that. Yeah.
Hmm. I have a few questions left. Is it true you run by time rather than distance in training?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So we would go for say like a 30-minute run or 40-minute run, something like that. And I quite like it because it means that if you're feeling good, then you run further, and then if you're not feeling so good, then you don't run quite as far. Rather than it being a set, 5, 6, 7 miles, because you could be really, really tired and it could take you for ages to do, the distance. Or you could be feeling really good and then you don't run as long. So I like it that you've got this consistent sort of time that you're on your feet. You're not on your feet for a less period of time or a kind of longer period of time. So that seems to work really well.
And what would you say is your weekly mileage now?
Probably about 60 miles, 50, 60 miles maybe. Yeah, it'll maybe depend on the sessions that we do. Yeah, we don't actually do a huge amount of mileage, but whatever mileage we do is of a really high quality. So our runs are pretty quick as well. So we tend to go more quality over quantity is kind of our ethos, yeah.
Hmm. Do you have favorite sessions?
Yeah, probably shorter ones. As much as I'm a middle distance runner, I don't terribly like the long stuff. But yeah, I mean every session's hard. It's not really an easy session. But then the fitter you get, the more not enjoyable, but I guess the easier the sessions are as well. It's always a bit rough when you're getting back after a break and you're not very fit trying to do the sessions. But yeah, I think they're all very demanding, but it just depends, I guess, what mood you're in and what fitness level you're at, kind of how enjoyable they are. Yeah.
Hmm. How much time off do you take after the summer season?
Usually 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. So the athletic season finishes in September. So we'll take 2 to 3 weeks in September and then get back into training in October time.
Is it when you went to Iceland last year?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I went to Iceland for about a week, so I'd always wanted to go there, and I'm very lucky that running can take you lots of different places, but there's not really very many athletics competitions in Iceland, so it's a bit cold there. So yeah, really wanted to go there, and yeah, it's fantastic. I'd very really recommend it if anybody wanted to go. Yeah.
Must have been fun to see a bit more than just the airport and the hotel and the track.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it is really exciting being able to travel, but that is the reality of a lot of what we do. Is that yeah, you arrive at the airport, you get shuttled to the hotel, you go from the hotel to the track to the hotel, and back to the airport again. So, it was nice to be able to get out and explore a wee bit, and yeah, see lots of the sights around there, which is really nice.
I saw a street was named after you in your town.
Yeah, so I grew up in a little village in Scotland, and yeah, they named a street after me, Muir Way, which was really really sweet. Yeah, so when I was back at home in November time, I went to kind of go and see it. So that was very lovely. I've gotten very lucky. I've got a lot of nice home support at home. Yeah.
And my final question is the question I ask everyone here. This podcast is called Athlètes Mondiaux, which means athletes of the world, because what I love the most about track and field is that it is a truly universal sport. So I'd like to know what you love the most about track and field.
Oof. I think probably you're kind of similar to yourself. I think that it is so inclusive. You don't even need a pair of trainers. Literally, shoes, shorts, t-shirt, and off you go. That's it. You don't need any sort of fancy facilities or a big pool or fancy equipment. You can make do with what you have. And yeah, it helps to have better facilities and things. But ultimately, anybody can run, and that's what I love about it. Yeah, anybody can do it, and I think it's so relatable as well. The sport, because anybody can do it. So yeah, I think very very similar to yourself in that it is so inclusive, and anybody can do it. And you don't have to be from any particular background to be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to leave us with?
No, I guess I'm just very excited to be hopefully coming to France next year for Paris Olympics
Of course.
2024. Like I said, got very fond memories of the capitals. So hopefully very excited to be back in France soon.
For another Olympic medal.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that's a wrap. I'd like to thank Laura for her time, and thank you all for listening. I hope you liked the episode. If you did, please share it on social media and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to support the podcast, please check the links in the description. That's it for today. I'll be back soon with another episode. Bye-bye.